In this segment, we're going to talk about the new retirement paradigm based on income and not on asset accumulation. We're going to talk about covering living expenses, optimizing your portfolio against inflation, the long-term care risk, and the transfer of wealth, all in Tom's book, Paychecks and Playchecks. Well, Tom, this is going to be a packed session. There's a lot to talk about. These are four main principles. Why don't you address the first one? Let's walk through this.
Yeah, so, everybody thinks retirement's so complicated. The more I study retirement, the simpler and simpler and simpler it gets. In fact, let me make your own retirement as simple as I can. The ultimate success of your retirement is going to depend on your answer to these two questions. And I'm not going to ask how big your 401k is. Do you have a big investment account, or do you have a fancy house? No, because the success of your retirement is not about your assets. It is not about your assets. Now, this is a paradigm shift because we've been taught that the success of our retirement is going to be how big we can build that pile of money. And the bigger the pile of money, the better our retirement. That's not true. Your assets can be lost, they can be stolen, they can be swindled, they can be sued, they can be divorced, they can be decimated in a market crash. In fact, if you think about it, your assets are simply numbers on a piece of paper. Think about it. And for the rest of your life, those numbers on that piece of paper are only ever going to do two things for you. You are either going to spend that money or you're going to give that money. That's it. You're either going to spend it or you're going to give it. You're either going to give it when you're alive or you're going to give it when you die. So when you really study the math and science behind retirement, it comes down to this. What is the most efficient way for me to get the most amount of income that I can spend and 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 never run out? And what's the most efficient way for me to give money to others? And what you're going to find is the most efficient way to get the most amount of income that you can spend and spend and spend and spend and spend and never run out is going to be some form of an annuity. And the most efficient way to give money to others is going to be some form of life insurance. So the ultimate success of your retirement is going to come down to your answers to these two questions. How much guaranteed lifetime income do you have? Not what was your rate of return on your stock portfolio? Did you get 13% or 10%? That has nothing to do with it. How much guaranteed lifetime income do you have? And have you taken those key retirement risks that we've been talking about off the table?
Now, this is a really important issue because most people that you introduce this to consumers for the first time don't even know we have such products, number one, and they have not even thought about their own human longevity. And usually when you start looking at these numbers, especially what they're projecting, baby boomer females, non-smoker, healthy, good diet, exercise, all these gals are going to be seeing 90s, 100. I mean, think about it. Isn't it, I think it's Willard Scott that used to say happy birthday to a handful of Americans who turn 100 every day. That number is huge every day.
And it's increasing.
So the only way to take the risk off the table is to talk about these two subjects.
Yeah, so let me try to put everything we've talked about this week into four simple steps. If people would follow these four simple steps, and this is really the conclusion of Paychecks and Playchecks, here are the four simple steps. Step number one, you want to cover your basic expenses with guaranteed lifetime income. So the first step is to decide how much money do you need to live your normal retirement. You subtract out your Social Security because that's a guaranteed paycheck for life. It's a lifetime income annuity. You subtract out your pension because that's a lifetime income annuity. But whatever that shortfall is, that's where the annuity fits. That's not where stocks fit. That's not where bonds fit. That's not where real estate fits. That's not where CDs. That's where the annuity fits to cover those basic expenses with guaranteed lifetime income. But here's why. Because you take these risks off the table. You take longevity risk off the table. It's a guaranteed paycheck for the rest of your life. You take deflation risk because if you're getting a check and things actually go down in a depressionary environment, one of the best things to own in a Great Depression, there's no market risk, no withdrawal rate risk, no order of return risk. You took 5 key risks off the table simply by covering your basic expenses with guaranteed lifetime income. Step two, you want to optimize the rest of your portfolio to protect yourself against inflation. Inflation is another big risk. And so this other money that you've got, that should go into stocks or bonds or real estate or commodities, or you can buy inflation protection guaranteed with a lifetime income annuity. Step three, you must have a plan for long-term care. No retirement plan is complete without a plan for long-term care. It's the one risk that people forget about that can wipe out their life's work. And step four, the most efficient way for you to pass your wealth to your children, grandchildren, and charities is with permanent life insurance. I say this all the time, Steve. Don't leave your kids any money. Don't leave your kids any money. Don't leave your kids any money. Spend your money. Leave them life insurance because you can leave them so much more. So one of the first things to do in your retirement plan is say, how much money do we want to leave to the kids? We want to leave them something. We don't want to leave them too much, too little. Figure out that number. And then for pennies on the dollar, you buy life insurance to go to them. Then guess what you can do with all the rest of your money? You can spend it. and you got to have that plan for long-term care. So that's really the 4 simple steps to a successful retirement.
I don't think many people address, and I've seen many planners, and especially asset under management RIAs, who don't even address, I need to have a floor to take care of my expense obligations, my normal everyday living expenses. This does that. You were talking about how I'm going to use my Social Security for that, I'm going to use my pension for that, I'm going to now add annuity for any shortfall, and I've covered my expenses. And you said I could put an inflation rider on that product.
Yes, you can, and you can also buy multiple products. So you can have a DIA that starts at 60, one that starts at 65, one that starts at 70, one that starts at 75. So you can ladder the products. You can buy a product that will go up every year, or you can just have your guaranteed income and then optimize with other investments, whichever works best for you.